Last month marked a new chapter in my life as I moved into a new apartment. It was a fresh start, a chance to leave behind the old and embrace the unknown. The process of moving is always a bit chaotic, with boxes scattered everywhere and the daunting task of unpacking looming large. What drew me to this particular place was its affordability. It was cheap, clean, which was a huge plus because I didn't want to spend my precious free time scrubbing grime. And surprisingly quiet, maybe a little too quiet now that I think about it. One of the first things I noticed upon moving in was the abundance of mirrors. There were mirrors in every single room, and not just any mirrors, mind you. These were floor-to-ceiling antique-style mirrors. They seemed like they belonged in a grand ballroom rather than a modest apartment. Initially, I found them charming, a unique feature that added character to the space. At first, but as time went on, something felt off. A subtle unease began to creep into my mind, a feeling that I couldn't quite shake, especially at night. I felt watched. Like unseen eyes were constantly observing my every move. It was as if the reflections in the mirrors were delayed, as if they weren't quite synchronized with my own movements. One night, as I was brushing my teeth, preparing for bed, I turned my head to the side, just a quick casual movement. But to my horror, my reflection didn't follow suit. It remained perfectly still, its eyes fixed on me, unblinking. It just stared at me, completely motionless. And then, a slow, unsettling smile spread across its face. I blinked rapidly, trying to convince myself that I was imagining things. And when my eyes opened again, it matched me again. Everything seemed normal once more. Maybe I was just tired, I reasoned. Maybe it was just a trick of the light, or a figment of my overactive imagination. Maybe. But as each night passed, the occurrences became more frequent, more pronounced. It got worse. The delayed movements became more obvious. The smiles that weren't mine, those unsettling, unnatural grins, appeared more often. Desperate to find some peace, I covered all the mirrors with sheets, and for a while I felt safer, shielded from those eerie reflections. But even that sense of security was short-lived. Soon, the sheets started falling, by themselves as if pulled by an unseen force. In a desperate attempt to rid myself of these terrifying mirrors, I called a mirror removal company. Initially they laughed at my concerns, dismissing them as mere superstition. That is, until I sent them photos of handprints. Handprints that appeared to be pressed against the glass from the inside. One particularly terrifying night, I woke up suddenly. The digital clock on my nightstand glared at me, displaying the time, 3:12 a.m. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding in my chest, and that's when I saw it. All the mirrors were uncovered, all at once. My reflection stared back at me from every surface, multiplied 100-fold. I was reflected in every one. But as I looked closer, I realized that none of them were doing what I was doing. One tilted its head to the side, regarding me with a curious, almost predatory gaze. Another reached its hand out toward me, as if trying to break through the glass. And then, in a moment that will forever be etched into my memory, they spoke. In unison, their voices echoing around the room. "We've waited so long to be you," they whispered, their voices laced with malice. Panic seized me, and I ran to the front door, desperate to escape this nightmare. But the door was gone. In its place was just more mirror, another reflection staring back at me. I screamed, but no sound came out. In the mirror I saw myself still brushing my teeth, oblivious to the chaos unfolding around me. I'm not sure how long I was gone, lost in that terrifying world of reflections. But eventually I woke up in my bed. The mirrors were gone. The apartment was empty, stripped bare. Shaken and disoriented, I reached for my phone, seeking some semblance of normalcy. And there it was. A new selfie in my gallery. The timestamp chillingly read, taken at 3:12 a.m. I live in a new place now, far away from that cursed apartment, and I've made sure there are no mirrors, not even in the bathroom, where a mirror is practically a necessity. But despite my best efforts, sometimes I catch my reflection when I least expect it. In windows as I walk down the street, in puddles of water on the ground, even in my laptop screen as I'm working. And every time it still moves a second too late, still smiling when I'm not. A silent, mocking reminder of what happened. So I ask you, would you trust your reflection? If it wanted your life? If it was just waiting for the right moment to take your place? Subscribe for more horror stories that will make you question the very nature of reality, and maybe even think twice before looking in a mirror.